Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Alright, maiden time for the AVIOS PBY Catalina. Now, I haven't even done a range, well, I've done a range test, but I haven't done any kind of even driving around because I can't drive around the road at the house. So, let's take her up and let's see how she's going. I got a 8-channel Spectrum receiver in there.
Motors around. The cat will bite.
Alright, got differential thrust.
Differential throttle.
Right, left, up, down, right, left. Alright. Here. Alright.
The floats be tucked away. Pontoon floats down.
Alright, put the floats down. I get turned around here. All right.
Normal throttle.
Go back to my normal throttle. Reset my timer for 5 minutes.
Starting the fun over. Hot dog.
All right. Left, up, down, right, left. Okay. Here we go. Run a 4500 Sokokan Forest in there.
The floats be tucked away.
Man, what a sweet flying plane. A little bit of right aileron or left aileron, and it needs a little bit of down trim. Man, talk about your locked-in planes.
Manual mode.
Okay, let's put her. You know what? I had her in 3 or stabilization. Put her in manual mode now. No stabilization at all. I can't really tell the difference. Still needs a little bit of down trim. I don't think this thing needs a gyro.
Time remaining 3 minutes. Pontoon floats down. Differential.
Talk about your sweetheart. All right.
Normal throttle.
All right, we'll take off from right there. I'm still got her in manual mode, no gyro active.
The floats be tucked away.
All right, we got to establish a stall. All right, you're flying along, clean stall. Well, hold on, I don't think I've got that. Yeah, I gotta get that right aileron trimmed out better. All right, you're flying along, lose power. She just starts slumping forward. Let's do that again, back towards us. All right.
Time remaining.
Clean stall. You're flying along. Hands off. What does she do? Alright, she just starts slumping forward, slowly gliding down. Alright, let's try it this time, and we'll try to hold the nose up with the elevator. Okay. Alright, you're flying along, you lose power. Up elevator, holding the elevator up, elevator up, elevator up. Holding the elevator up. She just glides. She just glides. Very predictable. Very easy plane to fly. Alright, we'll go back to AS3X now. Get her even more locked in and beautiful. Alright. What a beautiful flying plane. Against that stormy background. I'm going to drop the pontoons or floats as we come by.
Pontoon floats down.
Alright, let's get some slow flybys. This is not a jet, folks. Okay? This is not a fast. Might want to work a little bit of rudder in your turn. Bring her right by us here, a little bit lower. Oh wow! What an absolute sweetheart! Cannot wait to get this out the lake. Now, folks, I've taken off and landed in manual mode. And she's just as sweet as she can be. You do want to work a little bit of mix, a little bit of rudder into your turn. All right, back into a little bit of power there. All right.
Differential throttle.
All right.
Motors are silent.
All right. That was a full 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Okay. Remember, make sure you have an established throttle cut, please, because you have to reach between them propellers in order to get to the battery. Okay. Battery checker here. Push back on that peg. Pull up on that. Okay. 30% less. So 5 minutes is perfect. 5 minutes. Now I've got a 4500 back about a half an inch from the front of where that battery tray ends, and I had to put a little bit down elevator because she's wanting to rise on me. So I'm going to put my next 4500 all the way forward and even out my elevator, and I'll bet you she'll be just fine. Well, folks, that right there is by far one of the most successful maidens I have ever had. This thing absolutely flies amazing, looks amazing. No, she's not an aerobatic dreamboat, okay? She's not going to come up here, and I'm not going to do any snap rolls or anything with this thing. It may be capable of it, but that great big wide wing, okay, it's not designed for this. This is designed to fly scale and just come by and do some beautiful passes, and it's got better power than scale. I mean, it's definitely got plenty of power. But just a beautiful flying plane. This is meant for a Sunday afternoon cruising down the lake or on the grass. This grass is wet. I guarantee you, if this grass was dry, it would be harder to fly. It would still got more than enough power to get up off this grass. So, and that differential thrust is wonderful. Only 25% on either side for differential thrust. So, but we'll go over that in the man cave. All right, God bless y'all. Thank you, Hobby King. What a great flying plane. This thing is stupendous, absolutely stupendous. All right, folks, y'all have a good one. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then PBY Catalinas from Avios Hobby King. Bye, y'all. Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Man Cave Studio. We're going to talk about the maiden and the second flight on the all-new AVIOS PBY Catalina. And I tell you what, I cannot be more pleased with a plane. And I've had a lot of good planes lately. Y'all watch my channel, you know I've got tons and tons of planes. I've got over 130 in this room. And I'll tell you right now, this is by far of my maiden flights. This is going to be in definitely my top three best maidens I've ever had. This thing flies smooth, smooth, smooth. It's probably the best way to describe this plane. Is it absolutely incredibly smooth flying airplane. Now, I am very sorry my maiden flight was not off the lake. I had an opportunity to take it out to the field. My wife had the time off to go film for me, so I take advantage when and where I can. We will get a lake flight in soon, because yes, I do know this thing screams for water stuff, and it's going to be some water flights. I will very soon, hopefully the next week or so, and I'll get a maiden flight or a water flight in for you. But as far as how this thing flies and handles, it is smooth as silk. This very well could be your first plane. I mean, if you're okay with the price and the size of it, it flies so docile. It is such a sweetheart. I mean, the big old cat is a big pussy cat. It really is. All right, enough of this blowing sunshine up the wazoo on it. But it is good. It's as good as I'm talking about. It just flies great. All right, let's talk about the flight, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to show you on the screen the steps I went through to get the differential thrust working. Now, I'm going to turn the motors on just to cover how that works so you can graphically see. Keeping your head 25%. I have 25% on either side. That'll make sense in a little bit. But when I give left rudder, okay, this rudder is turning towards me, and that motor over there is pushing backwards, which would turn the plane that way. Okay, then if I give right rudder, okay, that would turn the plane that direction, and that motor is working, and they work perfectly together. Okay, now the setup that I used on how to do that was off of Model Aviator's video on how he set up the Twin Otter, but he used 50% on either side. I used 25% as recommended in their online manual on how to set up your differential thrust. But I'll show you that in a little bit. I'm going to turn the props off.
Motors are silent. Pet the cat.
Listen to my audio calls. All right, here's the motors being turned on.
Motors are armed. The cat will bite.
Okay.
Motors are silent. Pet the cat.
I get kind of creative with my audio call-outs, don't I? All right, let me turn the plane around, and I'm going to show you graphically what the throws and all that look like. And I'll tell you what, this is one incredible, incredible flying plane. It really is. All right. We get turned to where you can see it a little bit better here. All right, she's a big plane, big beast. First off,
Pontoon floats down.
there you go. There's pontoons working. Now the flying rates that I flew in, I only flew in my high rates, and my high rates are 85% with 30% expo on my ailerons. On my elevator, 100% with 30% expo. And my rudder is 100%, but with 40% expo. All right. Now, under forward programming, the AS3X settings that I used, the gains were on roll, pitch, and yaw, 40, 40, and 50. One-time gains. Priorities, I left them at the default of 140 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Heading I did nothing with. Stop lock is all at 40 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Did nothing with the release rate. Left it alone at the stock 55, 55, and 75. Okay, and obviously not a nose wheel gyro. Gains were set at one-time gains. Now, let's talk about CG on the plane, battery placement, and where I place the receiver and what receiver I'm using. Okay, again, my throttle cut is on.
Motors are armed. The cat will bite.
Okay, that's them turned on.
Motors are silent. Pet the cat.
Pet the cat. My motors will not. Here's my throttle stick. Okay, nothing's working with the prop. And please, I cannot emphasize enough, make sure you have a good working throttle cut, okay, because you have to reach between these props in order to get a hold of your battery. And if you accidentally hit them, you're going to lose a finger, or at the very least have some serious damage. All right. To show you CG, it is 75 to 80 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing, and I've got my typical 2 glue marks. What that is, that's just 2 drops of hot glue, and I physically write on there the numbers 75 and 80, and then I put those dots right beside those letters or those numbers, and that's where, and look folks, she CGs absolutely perfectly right there. Okay, now to show you battery placement to get that CG. Okay, like I said, you got to reach between these props, push back on the hat. See if I can do this with one hand here. Oh good, I'm successful. All right, now I have to look at the screen occasionally to see what I'm doing. All right, let's go up. See where I've got that battery, that 4500. The wood tray ends, and there's a little wood foam shelf that starts right there. I'm right at the very end, and that's a 4500 4S. Okay, if you look off to the side, you can see I've got the 8-channel. It is a AR630. AR3660T, I don't know the numbers. It's the 8-channel Spectrum receiver that has telemetry, safe, and AS3X. I have one antenna running down here secured with packing tape, and then I have another antenna that's going back and then curves up, and the feathery end of the antenna is actually taped down right here, putting those antennas at 90 degrees from each other. Okay? Alrighty, let me change positions with the camera, and we're going to focus in now. The rest of this film, other than the closing statement, the rest of this will be actually on the screen. I'm going to be showing you on the screen of my transmitter how I set this plane up with differential thrust. Okay, so let's change positions. We'll be right back. Alrighty, here we are. We're going to show you the steps I went through to set this model up. Let's go down here and find the Catalina. There it is at the bottom. All right. All right. Now, model setup. This is the first important part that you're going to need to do. Okay. You're going to go to aircraft type. But understand, I've already got the plane stowed away, and I do not have it turned on, obviously. You're going to go to multi-engine. This is on IX14, just so you know. I'm sorry. You're going to go to aircraft options, and you're going to go all the way down where it says multi-engine, and you're going to check 2. Okay? Then you're going to come back here to wing type, and it's just a normal wing, simple 4-channel plane. Okay? Now, in the plane, you make sure you have separated the both the throttle leads. One you're going to plug into your regular throttle on the back of your receiver, and then the other one you're going to plug into an open aux channel. Well, I don't have flaps, so I put these, I believe, in aux 1. Now on the new updated IX14s, they just continue on numerically, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Gear would be the 5th channel, okay? Well, aux 6, they call it A6 because they just continue on with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's considered aux 6. And then I put this in throttle 2, okay, throttle 2. Now I went in there and I named that as throttle 2 because I picked those multi-engines. That's throttle 2, and so I know that throttle 2 is aux 6. Okay, so you follow me. Anytime you see me referring to aux 6, that is that second throttle. Okay, now, so now you've got that set up. You know that way when you turn the model on and switch it on, you can now connect. Both channels operate as throttle. Aux 6 and throttle work together the same. Not only do they work the same, but when you look on your monitor, okay, you'll notice this throttle here is at a negative 150. That's as low as you will. Also the same goes for aux 6. Had this just been a regular plain Jane channel, it would have been a negative or 100. Okay, but because it behaves the same as the throttle now, they mirror each other. So see, I don't have the plane plugged in, so okay. All right, model adjust. Now, here's where you're going to go. Now that you know they work, you can go ahead and set up your throttle cut like you normally would. Let me go back over here to model adjust, throttle cut, and the plane's not plugged in, so these aren't going to react. But see, I have position as a negative 150. Well, look where they're at. Both of them are at 150 also, or 130, or whatever you want to pick for your throttle cut. Okay. All right. So now the throttle cut works. Both work simultaneously. Both throttles work the same. So now you're going to go to mixing. Okay. And this. Now do this without the plane being plugged in, or at the very least have your props turned off. Your first, don't worry about these first two mixes. I got mix crazy. All right, this is actually going to be your first mix. Okay, don't worry about those top two. I just went with these two. Your first mix, because you already got your throttle cut, you don't have to worry about that. Your first mix is going to be rudder to throttle. Okay, and you're going to pick negative 25 and negative 25 for the rate. Leave the trim off, and you're going to assign it to a switch. Now I put everything in the middle position of my F switch. Now that F switch is up off the screen up here. So watch when I move it.
Normal throttle.
Okay, watch what happens.
Differential throttle. Normal throttle.
Okay, and that middle position is where my throttle switch is. Now I could put this on a 2-position switch and have just regular cruising, or have these mixed going, but I like using my other two position switches I have on the transmitter for my pontoons and for my motor on, motor off. Okay, so there's your first mix. Don't worry about that's not mix 3, that's mix 1. Rudder, throttle, negative 25, negative 25. This is 0, and put it on a switch that you can, and then you're going to put it on a switch, okay, that you remember. Now, the next mix that you're going to do is going to be the same thing, okay, but it's going to be rudder to aux 6, or that, remember, it's that throttle 2, so rudder to aux 6, and this is going to be positive 25, 25, okay, no offset on that same middle position on F, or whatever switch you want to use. Put both of those mixes in the same. Okay, now normally you would have to have 4 separate mixes. Okay, but because of the IX14 feature of letting you choose 2 motors and then marrying them back and forth, that takes care of the first mix, okay, that you normally have to do. The fact that because they're that way, you can now pick your traditional throttle cut, so that takes care of the second mix that you normally would have to do. So now all you have to do are these 2 remaining mixes. They're basically just telling each side of the throttle to obey the rudder, and obey the rudder at 25%, both of them one way, and negative 25% the right way. Now if you go in there and you notice that you give left rudder and also the left motor is also working, well, that's wrong. You want them to be opposite each other. Just change these values and then go back and change the other one, and then they'll work they'll work properly together. Okay, so just to recap that, with the updated IX14, go back, because I don't have it hooked up to the model. To recap, go through this again. Okay, aircraft type, we'll go through it one more time. Pick aircraft option, pick two motors. Okay, pick regular wing. Okay, all right. Under channel assign, make sure you have already named that second channel. I just named, there's a little feature here you can go in and name these things. I found it easier just to name it throttle 2, and I can't remember where that is, but either way, it's going to be aux 6, because the way they have this number now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put it in there aux 6, which normally would have been my flap channel. Aux 6 and throttle 2 are the same thing. So you're telling the second throttle, that second throttle we picked, to obey aux 6. Okay? And then from that point on, you just do these mixes. And you only need the 2 mixes. You just need these 2 mixes here. Throttle to throttle, rudder to throttle, pick a switch, either negative or positive 25% on both sides, and then rudder to aux 6, and pick negative or positive 25% on both sides. So you're going to have all 25 on one negative and then all 25 positive on the other. You're just telling the rudder to the throttle is obeying rudder in this mix, and the second throttle is obeying the rudder in this mix, and they just had to be negative or positive just depending on how yours ends up. Alright, and that's why we only have to have 2 mixes now, because the IX14, an updated one, takes care of the first 2. Hopefully that was not as clear as mud. If you have any questions, just go back through this, pause, watch it again. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I hope I didn't make it as clear as mud. The plane flies absolutely amazing. I cannot really add anything more to this. There again, just remember, keep your props off, and those props just screw right on that outer hub. You can slide them off if you have them inside the man cave or you're where we work at. And thank you so much, folks, for watching. God bless each and every one of y'all. Hobby King, thank you so much for putting your trust in me to send the plane out for review and the other planes you've sent me, and I really appreciate y'all, my viewers. God bless y'all. God is good, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends. God bless y'all, and let's keep them in the air. Bye, y'all.